Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Friday night Smackdown review. And I'm just going to keep it simple. I was bored by Smackdown tonight. And I think to be even more pointed with my remarks, this Smackdown really emphasized for me and really further clearly illuminated to me what acts make Smackdown for me. Because I love the main event scene, loving the whole, Roman family drama. You've got Jay, who's really been broken in all these months and has fallen in line. And to his benefit, too. I mean, he's gotten to main event countless Smackdowns. He's won the armbar. And now Jimmy Uso is like, yeah, but that's not me, though. I don't take orders. I'm doing my own thing. And I've liked the dynamic. And I've even been more impressed that Roman just has not gone off on him in a really physical segment yet. I thought that would have happened by now. I'm enjoying the mid-card scene. Apollo Crews has been a solid heel champion thus far. Kevin Owens, you guys know, is my fanfare. Big E is just a top babyface waiting to happen. And Sami Zayn, hashtag we support Sami Zayn, is just amazing at everything he does. No matter what material you give him, no matter what character he's embodying, he fully animates it. Bianca and Bayley, stellar. Everything else, though, I gotta say. And Alistair Black, jury's still out. I'll put it that way.
Oh, I've arrived at my conclusion on Alistair. We'll talk about that later.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Everything else, though, I don't care. I don't care about Dominic Mysterio and Rey and their pursuit, and I haven't for a long time. You guys know this. No disrespect to your boy Nak. I know we're both fans of Nakamura. I really don't care about a potential feud with Corbin over the crown. I think that's beneath Nakamura, honestly. And yeah, I don't care for whatever Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce have going on, this power struggle, because he did say to her tonight during an Apollo segment backstage, because we know that we're going to get a fatal four-way next week, not at WrestleMania Backlash, which surprises me. I feel like that match deserved to be on the pay-per-view. Apollo versus Sammy versus KO versus Big E for the title. And when Apollo leaves, he's like, don't undermine me in front of the superstars. And Sonya just kind of like scoffs like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm going to listen to you. I don't care. So it's really illuminated to me the acts that make SmackDown for me. And I found most of the show to be quite meh, to be honest. So I'm curious what you thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, I might be a little bit higher on the show than you are, because I would say that my overall thought was that it was a fun show. It was entertaining for the most part. Maybe that's just because when the segments that come on that I know about, I just stop paying attention. I just kind of zone out and, I do my own thing. I'll look things up on the computer. I'll watch I actually watched a couple YouTube videos, during literally the two things that you mentioned, the Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler match and the Nakamura Corbin match. I was completely tuned out of. I was watching YouTube at that point. So there were definitely down points on the show, but my overall feeling is that I enjoyed it more than I was bored by it.
And see, I agree with you. Segments I didn't care about, I was checked out of. Even Shayna and Nya versus Tamina Natalia. I'm happy for Tamina that she's finally won a title, but the moment Natalia opened her mouth for that post-match promo, this is for everyone that's ever had a dream. I muted. I'm like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, I didn't mute anything on the show, but I was definitely half in and half out with that. But like I said, half in and half out, that's still better than I was with the Mysterio match and the Corbin match, because half paying attention is better than not paying attention at all.
Yeah, and you know what, Foster, to be fair to those guys, it's not even like it was a bad match. I mean, you're talking to a guy that when they were feuding in 2009, fucking 12 years ago, for the Intercontinental title when Dolph was on the rise, and I thought Rey was already at that stage in his career, okay, I'm going to legitimize the next generation of talent. I thought their matches were fucking bangers. And this wasn't even a bad match. I'm not emotionally invested. So I can say that they
right? It's not really about match quality. They could be putting on, 5-star matches out there. And, I think that they're not. But even if they were, it wouldn't matter just because we don't care.
Well, even if you just take a good match, just to be as simplistic as possible, as getting from point A to point C, doing it as cleanly as effectively as possible, I trust both guys in that ring to do that. Yeah. I just don't care that you took the journey.
Right. That's exactly the problem. Yeah. Is They're trying to get us invested in this Ziggler Mysterio feud, or really this Rudolph Mysterio feud. The problem is that they're just not using anyone in it that we care about.
Yeah, so, and I want to make clear too, let's just get right to our first segment, Heat of the Night. I don't have any heats of the night. Nothing was so egregious to me as I'm like, this is just, I can't wait to hear it then, Jesus. But I was just going to say, nothing to me on this was like, this is an affront to television, or I don't know why they're doing this with this talent, rah, 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 you know, the whole South Park thing, rah, 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 rah. But like, I was just, I don't know, I felt really disconnected from it tonight, save for the things that I mentioned that I was really high on. But you've been more quiet. You said, you probably were even higher on the show than me, but that doesn't mean that you don't have heats tonight. So what's cooking for you, bud? What do we got going on?
Oh my God. Okay. Like I said, I think that there was more good on the show than there was bad, but the bad really pissed me off, or at least the worst thing on the show, which in my opinion was the Alistair Black vignette.
Okay, let's talk about it, man, because I really thought it was just a vignette. So
let me actually tell you my exact thoughts before I get into my feelings. In my opinion, this Alistair Black gimmick feels like a reskinned version of Hazmat Suit Moxley, or Hazmat Suit Ambrose, I should say. The version of Dean Ambrose that told people that he wouldn't come out in front of the crowd because they stank. And when he did, he came out in a fucking hazmat suit or with a gas mask on or whatever the fuck. That version of Ambrose, this version of Alistair Black feels exactly like that, although there are some slight tweaks that are really kind of irrelevant. The general vibe is, you people don't deserve me.
Okay. So let's go deeper, though, to, like, why you hate it. Is that, like, the source of your hatred? Is like, oh, man, they're rehashing this really bad kind of heel
the source
vibe?
of my hatred is that they are giving Alistair Black a generic you people heel gimmick. I fucking hate that shit.
See?
That's the worst kind of heel gimmick.
Yeah. It's weird for me because, on one hand, I'm definitely sympathetic to your hatred in the sense that it is very generic, right? Anybody that's just like, oh, I'm a heel because I self-alienate from all of you because I'm superior kind of thing. I don't know if I can be as visceral yet because, it is kind of this whole cultish vibe. And when you're in a cult, you're supposed to be, like, brainwashed. It
doesn't give me cultish vibes at all, though. It just gives me vibes of, like, he was raised by a piece of shit dad that taught him that being a piece of shit was a good thing, and that's it.
But, I mean, apparently, according to Alistair, his father was in a cult, and he might have even, like, I don't know what position he had in the cult, but, like, that's why I'm even kind of
Black is definitely letting on vibes of, like, I'm the chosen one, and you people below me.
See, again, I am sympathetic. I'm not going to dismiss your criticisms wholesale. I just think where I'm tentative is, like, vignettes, they're both an expansive medium that I think you could do a lot with, but they're also limited. Like, I'm wondering, like, is this going to inform how he conducts himself in the ring at all? What happens if we put him in front of a live mic? Because I actually don't think he's a bad promo. I just think he's got a certain style of promo that he really excels in. I'm curious, how do you export this gimmick to all of that, you know what I mean? Rather than this controlled environment of these vignettes. But for the time being, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, man, because if it is just a one note, like, oh, I'm superior because my father taught me all this, because didn't he even have a line tonight where he said, like, more or less something to the effect of, like, I was made from iron, and you guys were made from, I don't even know what
dirt.
material.
He said dirt.
He said dirt, so like a weaker material, right? Yeah. Like, I'm iron, you're dirt. And so
basically, like, I guess what I'm trying to say here is they're trying to basically make, and this is just my perception, so again, check me if I'm wrong here. It feels to me like they're trying to turn Alistair Black into an occultist version of MJF.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't want to dismiss it wholesale.
I'm better than all of you, and you need to just admit that and be done with it, because if you don't, then I'll just prove it.
Right. It's funny because, like, it seems like it's becoming a bit popular that when you're a heel, like, you get your own faction. Like we just saw recently with Swerve and Hit Row. So I'm almost wondering if, like, Alistair would get his own disciples. But then again, I feel like we just got that with Seth Rollins. And I don't feel like every heel needs a faction.
And I just also, like, this whole idea of a cult leader having followers is just too Wyatt for me.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt also did it. So I don't know, because I think Alistair's an exceptional talent. I think you and I both agree on that. I just don't know how you take this material that he specifically has been given and you make it unique, because even more so than the generic you people thing, look at what we just did. We said, more or less, like, if you take it this route, you take it this route. Seth already did it, or Bray already did it. So not only do you have a generic, like, you people gimmick potentially, which, again, I can totally see where you're coming from, but I think anytime you veer into those waters that have already been treaded before creatively, it's always a task of differentiation. Why shouldn't I think of Bray Wyatt when I see?
And just to be clear too, I don't want people to think that I think that Alistair Black is the problem here. I don't. I think that this is just kind of, to me, and again, I could be stepping out of the line here. I could be talking about stuff that I'm not as educated on as I think I am. But to me, this feels like he's on his way out the door and they want to make him look bad on his way out. The same way that I feel like they did with Ambrose.
Right. So it's like, this dude's kind of at the end of his rope. We might as well get something for our value.
I think it's literally like we need to bury him so that when he leaves this company, he doesn't take a hot name somewhere else.
Yeah, you know what, though? At least in the beginning, you could say Ambrose is cool, or Mox, to use the proper name, has cooled down significantly since then, but try as they might to bury him, I mean, the dude knew how to market himself, at least early on, and was like one of the hottest acts in wrestling. I'm hoping for something similar for Alistair if his exit is coming, because the dude's freaking phenomenal. I just don't even know anymore where I'd want him to go, because obviously New Japan's done some questionable shit, and not everybody can go to New Japan anyway. So I don't know what the future holds for Alistair Black, but I hope it's what his talents deserve, because it is really amazing to me that this guy was in NXT, and I would say repeatedly on this very podcast, he is a license to print money. You literally just have to turn the printer on and hear it go burr.
And that's my thing too. That is like, that's why this is such a visceral heat of the night for me. It's not just, I don't like this type of gimmick. That's a part of it. But the bigger thing kind of stems back to, it's fucking stupid to make Alistair Black a heel in the first place. This dude is a babyface. This dude is likable. He's a badass. He's an anti-hero. He's somebody that people will want to cheer if you let him do the shit that got him to your company in the fucking first place. And they're just like, no. All the stuff that you did that we liked, we're taking that away from you, and we're giving you shit that we also like, but doesn't fit you.
Remember when, he was actually built up as that badass babyface you speak of. And imagine if they kept that same energy, how everybody would have felt if his music would have hit during a Roman Reigns promo. Yeah. And how fucking hyped we'd be for that shit. That's what I'm saying.
Well, and the thing is, too, Vince immediately, when Alistair got called up to the main roster, Vince immediately started tweaking, started tinkering, started fucking him over with the fucking creaking sound that they make when he did the sit-up thing out of the backboard thing on his entrance. I don't know what that's even called, but when it did it, Vince was like, oh, we need a creaking sound in there. And that immediately takes away from the mystique, right? And then you do the fucking heel turn, and it's trash, and then he goes away for a goddamn year or however long it's been, and now you're bringing him back still as a heel. People were looking forward to seeing him come back, and you still have him be a heel. I think that Vince, this is one of the most sort of telling instances of Vince McMahon not knowing what the fuck he has.
Yeah, you know what, as we get deeper into it, I can really see where you're coming from. Because, again, you just look at this dude. He has everything. Because we have to understand
he even had the fucking Undertaker-style catchphrase, fade to black. That's money. You put that on T-shirts. You put that on hats. You put that on hoodies. For Christ's sakes, you put that on fucking mugs. You put that on toys. You put that on everything, and it will sell. And they're just like, no, you know what? All that money that you're floating around there, hypothetically, light it on fire. Fuck it. We don't want it.
It's just so tragic to me, because if you look at the history of pro wrestling, and if you just look at history in general, obviously culture goes through different phases. In the 80s, a guy like Hulk Hogan was the, personified babyface. All, American made, big macho guy. Then in the 90s, it was a guy like Austin, blue-collar guy that might be down on his luck at times, but never stops, putting that middle finger up, beating up his boss, living out the worker's fantasy. I feel like in culture today, Alistair Black kind of signifies what a top guy can be. He's in the right time. He's just not being used correctly. And that, to me, is a tragedy. Because sometimes people come...
I think that is kind of the root of why I'm so angry about this complete change of gimmick and the heel turn. And keeping him heel, really, because he was heel before he left.
Yeah, and like... And see, I got to give credit to Alistair here, because I almost wonder if he feels like he shouldn't be a heel. Like, I can make so much money for myself and this company as a babyface, but if they were like, you got to go heel, at least he tried to participate in the creative process and be like, well, my father was in a cult, sold, let's do that. And like, so kudos to him for trying to make it work. It's a shame, because like I just got done saying, he's in the right time to be a top babyface. He didn't come too early or too late. He's just being handled pretty questionably. I won't say horribly until he gets in the ring.
Because of that, you could argue that he is here a little bit too early or too late, because he's not here at a time that we have competent fucking writing that knows what he can be.
Yeah, but he'd be waiting for a long time, given this company, so I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, but no, I'm really glad, man. Do you have anything else you want to air out? Because again, I got nothing, so this is still all yours.
That was my big thing. That was the number one thing that had me angry on this show. There were a few other things that I was mildly annoyed at, but nothing really even worth a nitpick. That's just the one thing on the show that just made me, it made my fucking ears steam, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Nice phrasing. All right.
Smoke coming out of them from the goddamn engine turning up in my brain.
Let's get into our Friday night Smackdown review. And we open up, as we have grown accustomed, with Roman Reigns, head of the table, and the rest of the people that get to sit at the table. Jey Uso.
Oh, that was good.
Jey Uso does a fine introduction of Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, head of the table. Man's going to beat Cesaro this Sunday at WrestleMania Backlash, which we were going to be previewing and predicting tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, guys. And we're going to be live reacting to it at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Roman Reigns on Sunday, yes. Roman Reigns, and then Roman and his amazing theme music hit.
Dude,
and
it's so good.
Dude, it's already crossed over 1 million views already on WWE Music. WWE Music, by the way, has been hauling ass getting their shit out lately. I don't know, they're just like, fine.
The next thing needs to be the Hit Row theme. I want to hear it so bad.
Hell yeah. And then, he just kind of looks at Jey and he says, still got a problem with your brother. We'll talk about that in a second. And then he addresses Cesaro. I gotta say, and again, this is where my interest, kind of perks up. I still think they're handling Cesaro a bit well. I still have my gripes. I low-key wish that we would have gotten 2 triple threat matches for WrestleMania Backlash, and this one, of course, being Cesaro, Rollins, and Reigns. But I like that they're kind of pulling Rollins back at the same time, so I'm kind of all over the place. But
dude,
Roman essentially...
I thought, wasn't it last week, didn't you say that you were afraid that they were going to add Rollins to the match and you wanted Cesaro to get a singles match, or was it the other way?
No, it was the other way around.
That's right, you want Cesaro versus Roman to be a singles match at SummerSlam, right?
Yes, yeah, I want them to take the scenic route with this shit, because I really do like the narrative, because Reigns is more or less saying, like, and I love this, because, dude... And no wonder Twitter loves him, because I think he definitely has a direct line to some portion of just wrestling social media in general. I ain't even just going to say Twitter, but like all of media. Because he says, I like Cesaro. Like, I like a lot of the guys in the back, Roman pulling that shit. And he's like, hey, Cesaro is probably even one of the best wrestlers in the world. And it's quick to come in with like, one of. And Reigns just like, but I'm so much more than a wrestler.
Yep.
And what were you going to say, though, man?
Roman pulling a Cody Rhodes. He's a really good hand.
Yeah, but so much better, though. I'm like... Because he talks about, like, how he represents the company. He does the interviews. He's got, the look more or less. And then he goes back to the one talking point that's really been hammered home. Like, Paul, how many... world title matches has Cesaro been in? 0. Paul, how many have I been in? Just stroke me real good, Paul. And he's just like, well, my people are really good with numbers. 39. And I love Roman here. Because he's about to be like, 39. 39. Like, he's just like, damn, I'm good. He's just kind of celebrating himself in that ring. And then I think he just even kind of leaves it. Yeah.
I know that there was one point that Cesaro was in a big multi-man match. It might have been an Elimination Chamber, I think. And leading up to the match, Randy Orton, who I believe was the champion at the time, had to face every guy that he was in the match with, including Cesaro, who beat Orton in the singles match leading up to this match. Was this an Elimination Chamber match that I'm thinking of?
Yes, it is. I know exactly.
So Cesaro has had a world title shot before.
No, because that was a non-title match he had against Orton on SmackDown.
No, I know, but then he was in the chamber.
He was in the chamber, but they specified on commentary, to be fair, a one-on-one championship opportunity. He's never had a one-on-one championship opportunity.
That works then. Okay, as long as
okay.
distinction, it works.
Yeah. So I think I don't know if Reigns and Heyman. Oh god, that fusion is horrifying.
You're watching too much GTA, man. You're watching too much No Pixel.
Kind of threw me off with that question, so I had to reorient myself. But yeah, Reigns and Heyman. I don't know if they were as good about making that distinction, but commentary definitely was, because I heard commentary explicitly say like one-on-one championship match.
Well, that's good.
But then we go back to everybody's favorite soap and mine, as the Usos turn. As Reigns just says, hey, Jimmy, who I'm pretty sure was the one that squared up with a cop, so Reigns should have known that this was coming, okay?
Oh my. He's like, he should have knocked him the fuck out.
Exactly. And he's just like, he's got to learn. You and I, we have this good thing going, and he's got to fall in line, he's got to acknowledge me. And then the music cuts him off, and Reigns just puts his head down like, boy, if you don't,
That was the exact vibe, yes.
My patience. And Jimmy comes out. He's smiling like, I'm actually amazed that Reigns has not just gone up, because he blew up tonight on the mic. But I'm amazed he has not, put him in that guillotine. Of course, though, Jimmy would probably get even more of an attitude when he regained consciousness, so maybe Reigns is like, fuck, he's not going to be broken in by force. What do you do when somebody's not like Jay? God damn.
Well, dude, you've also got to remember, too, the only reason that Roman was able to get so many W's over Jay was because Jimmy was in a helpless situation, because Jimmy was injured. Jimmy was dealing with his knee injury. And now that Jimmy is no longer injured, and Jay is obviously not going to be used as leverage against Jimmy by Roman the way that Jimmy was used as leverage by Roman against Jay, Jimmy is able to put up a hell of a lot more of a fight than Jay was.
Yeah, he more or less is telling Roman with his actions, like, I know you're the tribal chief and all, but do something. And Roman's just like, but see, this really is a fascinating window into Roman, too, because you can tell, I keep bringing up the fact, I'm amazed he hasn't beat his ass. Because, and I think we all know on some level, and I just want to make it explicit here, why that is. Because Reigns deep down is like, I want all the help that I can get. I don't want to alienate this. I don't want to ruin this for myself.
Well, you're probably right, but I also think there's a part of him that wonders if he could.
I think you're right about that. So I think you put my half together and your half, and you really have a comprehensive picture of Reigns' psychology. Yeah. He's wondering if he could, but I also think, again, it's like, no, I need him fresh, I need him healthy, because if I could just bring him to my side, then my reign can last forever.
And there's also probably a part of Roman that's wondering, if he would attack Jimmy, who would Jay choose?
There you go. So Reigns is probably feeling like this is a very precarious situation for the reasons that you said, for his own self-confidence, because we know he projects an image, it doesn't mean he embodies that image.
Yeah.
And then he's also thinking, I can't let everything that I've meticulously crafted come undone, because then I may be on my own. And with the exception of Dan O'Brien a few weeks ago, look at his track record. Reigns being on his own, because Heyman ain't doing shit. I mean, hell, fuck, he's a piece of shit. Fuck him forever. But even Cornette was like, I still can't believe Paul makes the kind of money he does and doesn't take a bump. Paul ain't taking any bumps for your ass, Roman. You are on your own if this happens. So he's like, yeah, I really got to make this work.
Yeah.
But Jimmy, man, doesn't want to cooperate.
Yeah, it's a very touchy situation for Roman, and he has to play it right, because he could lose everything if he doesn't.
But you know what's so fucking great, though, man? I ain't gonna lie, because I fuck with Roman. We stand with Roman in this house. We stand for Roman in this household. all that good shit. But man, if it doesn't make me smile seeing Jimmy fuck with Roman, man. That line tonight where he's like, oh, hey, if me and Jay become tag team champions and you lose that Universal title, then we're the heads of the table, right? That's how it works. And Reigns got just so triggered.
Bro, he was seething. He was seething, bro.
Apoplectic. That's not how he literally was the angriest version of that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works I've ever seen. Because I think he literally even said, that's not how that works. I'm the head of the table. I'm the tribal chief. You can't handle the responsibility. And Heyman in the background is just looking like, oh my god, my meal ticket is tilting his fucking face off. I need to do damage control immediately.
It's not untrue.
Yeah, I can't wait for Talking Smack tomorrow because I hope either Jimmy or Cesaro comes on there and just works Heyman into a fucking shoot where he's like, oh god, my job security rests on this. And it more or less circles around to, you know, do you think I can? You think I can't beat Cesaro? And Jimmy's just smiling like, oh my god, he knows that I doubt him and I'm gonna get it for all that's worth. And he's smiling. And he's like, since you asked, Oos, no. I don't think you can beat Cesaro. Oh my god.
Honestly, I appreciate the confidence and like the just taking a straight shot, but it would have hurt Roman so much more if he would have added in, not without him pointing at Jay.
You're so right about that. You're so right about that. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, because I want them to take the scenic route with Cesaro anyway, and it's very clear after tonight that they're not doing that. Like, we are doing this shit at Backlash.
Yep.
I don't want to make any formal predictions, but I will say, depending on what happens at Backlash, I honestly would not mind Jimmy versus Roman at Money in the Bank since Jimmy's been talking all this shit. Why the fuck not? Reigns has had such a unique title reign as is anyway.
Yeah.
Fucking use it. And you know, because I feel like this is family drama that's going to have to be settled, as all things are in WWE, in the ring. You're going to talk all this shit to me, Jimmy? Take your shot. Take your shot. But if you lose, you've got to fall in line or else we're cutting you off, and I can make hell for you. I can make even more hell for you if you're outside the family than with you being in the family. So you lose this shot, you either fall in line or you leave, and you and your wife, you're going to have to find something else to do, because with my stroke, I could have you both out of a job. I really just make him eat it. Make him eat it the same way he made Jay eat it. So, yeah, I think it's going to have to be settled in the ring. We'll have to see. But I love this. And it does end, just so that I'm not missing any points, with Jimmy calling out Cesaro and just saying, like, oh, you know, let's wrestle tonight. And Cesaro, I like that he's not talking too much. I think what he does say is sincere, but he's not going to be like a soliloquy to start every show like Roman's so good at doing. And he says, of course. And after I beat you, Jimmy, Roman, I'm beating you this Sunday. And again, Heyman's just looking so nervous, like, why is everything happening? We need to control this. This is awful. Everything is awful. So, yeah, great opening segment. Loving everything about this storyline. And really, I am quite hyped. Even if I think it's happening a bit early, I'm thinking this is the beginning of a story, not the end of it, with Cesaro and Roman. Do you have anything you want to add to this?
Let's go.
All right. Shayna and Nya versus Tamina and Natalia.
Whoa,
again,
that was our first match of the night? Damn.
Yeah, it was. I really didn't care for this match all that often. All you guys really need to know is that they overcame interference from Reginald, which allowed fucking Nya to Samoan drop Tamina into a barricade early on. Tamina was able to recover, bit of back and forth between both teams. Pivotal moment came when Nya hit a Samoan drop on Natalia after Natalia had German suplex Shayna on the outside. But here's the thing, and I do think, even though I hate this Nia-Shayna tag team, if they're going to keep them as a thing for a bit longer, mainly for a rematch, they did a good job protecting the former champions here, because as Nia Samoan dropped Natalia, because she was prone for that split second, that was enough for Tamina to hit her splash, get the 3 count. Tamina is finally a champion in WWE, and, you know, she got her moment, and her and Natalia, they're celebrating. I already kind of talked about the promo that I muted, more or less saying, like, we didn't give up on our dream. This is for everybody that had a dream. Good for Tamina, and I keep specifying that because I really don't care for Natalia. I'm sure in her mind she's thinking, that'll show everyone I'm worth more than $1. And yeah, way to complete your arc there, Natalia. Great job. So yeah, I don't know how long they're gonna reign. Still waiting for the day the Riot Squad win those fucking belts, but I really am not holding my breath on that.
Well, now if they're gonna go after the belts, they would have to turn heel.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, I hate everything sometimes. Okay, so then we get a Paul Heyman promo. More or less says like, look, I don't know Jimmy Uso or can beat Cesaro or whatever, but he says that Reigns can and will beat Cesaro this Sunday at WrestleMania Backlash. And then we get the Medal of Honor ceremony. What did you think about this, man? I feel like I haven't given you much talking here beyond our Heat of the Night segment to start the show.
Well, before we move on to this, did you notice Heyman didn't use the spoiler line?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't notice that. But thank you for bringing that up, because that's legitimately a great point.
Curious, isn't it? Yeah, that's weird. All right. Anyway.
We'll have to see if he uses it on Talking Smack tomorrow. We'll have to see.
Oh, he's got one opportunity left to use it. Shit, that'll lock it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as far as the metal thing, I don't know. I'm already kind of over the Apollo stuff. I really was into it at first, but it's worn on me already. I feel like I just want something new to happen, and it's not, so I'm bored by it.
When you say new, can you kind of elaborate on that? I mean, not to press you or anything, but I'm just curious what you're looking for.
I think a new opponent would do it, or really just him like moving to Raw. Like, I don't know. I just want something new for him in general. I feel like he's already kind of worn out all of his opponents. Like it just feels like the Big E feud is going on forever. I feel like Big E still targeting him and still trying to go after the IC title. It's like, dude, you're better than this. Move on, please. You know what I mean?
So, just to be clear, because this is where I think you're coming from, your problem isn't with much like Alistair, like how Apollo is doing his job personally. You just think everything surrounding Apollo is just kind of tired.
It's a repetitive thing. It's repetitive.
Yeah, because I can even see what you mean about Big E, because it seems like it's still the Big E Apollo story, but like Sammy and Kevin Owens are just kind of like add-ons to it. They're supplements to that main story.
Yeah.
When
they have their own story, and the writers were just like, let's take this fucking sticky tape and put these two together.
I will say, well, I think all four guys are doing the best job that they can, like everybody in this company, hit or miss. It does kind of disappoint me that the Sammy Kevin story has melded into the Apollo Big E story, and I think that's mainly because, if I'm truthful, Sammy has been so stellar with this gimmick, but there's only so far you can take it. Like, I really thought the end of the gimmick would be the release of the documentary, right? And then everybody panning it, saying that it's crap, whatever. I don't think you can go any further than that. I don't think we're getting a documentary as a network special, which, again, in my personal opinion, and only one opinion, I think is a missed opportunity by WWE and maybe even by people that have stroke over a Peacock. Like, I would want that if I was
the trailer was kind of meant to be the climax of the documentary story.
Right, and so because of that, and especially because of what Sammy's been embroiled in lately, speaking his fucking truth, using his First Amendment rights, and, allegedly certain pro-Israel groups having a problem with that, like Sammy is kind of in a lot right now. But, like, his social media use...
Let's be real, they're not so much pro-Israel as they are anti-Muslim.
Yeah.
Anti-Palestine.
Yeah. But, Sammy, his social media feed, how he is as a person, he seems to be a very liked, respected guy, and I feel like all of that, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm ready, and I feel like a lot of people probably are ready for Sami Zayn to go babyface again, and to bring it back to SmackDown and things going on in that world. I thought Kevin Owens was going to be a catalyst for turning Sammy face again. And it's funny because when you're saying, like, it's kind of worn off on me, it feels like even though everybody in this mid-card scene is really, really good, they're kind of in a stasis right now. Like there's no forward movement to me for a lot of these guys. Like you said, Big E is above this. Kevin Owens, I think Kevin Owens, to his credit, he's trying to maintain forward movement, because if you see him on Talking Smack, he keeps telling Paul, like, tell Roman not to forget about me. And actually, Kevin Owens by himself has done a lot to hype up Money in the Bank, because he's alluded to, I'm going to win that briefcase and I'm coming for Roman. So Kevin is still trying to be forward moving back to the main event scene, which I understand completely, both kayfabe and non-kayfabe. Apollo, I think, has got a great character that I think can get a lot of mileage, but again, it's about who you're facing, and he's exhausted his possibilities.
Dude, I think that with Apollo, I think that I'm finding more and more issues with this segment as I think about it, because, like, Apollo just right now just kind of feels directionless, because he wasn't out here for any particular person. He was out here for himself. And then the weirder thing is he was out here to thank the guy that's been helping him cheat to retain. And then, like, his character really hasn't progressed since before Mania. I feel like Apollo's treading water right now. I think that's probably one of the big contributors to why I'm just so bored by this right now.
Right. I can understand that. Big E interrupts, on the Tron, more or less just saying, like, you have yet to feel my power. And, he does the whole kind of intro thing, but it's like a talking point, which I thought was nice. And more or less, I'm going to take the Intercontinental title back. Sammy comes out, and he's like, I just want to have a talk with you about how... Yeah.
I fucking love Sami Zayn. He's so good.
He is so good.
Good at his job and good as a human.
Absolutely on that. Again,
such a rare quality in wrestling, and really in most, I feel like most entertainment mediums these days. Yeah.
Fuck yes, man. Facts all the way down. Sammy's just like, well, you did steal my Intercontinental Championship. And if you're an honorable man, you'll give me the right to challenge for it. Calm down, because Commander Aziz, he throws the steps out of the ring. Then Kevin Owens' music hits. He's like, everybody calm down. He looks at Kevin like, you're not supposed to be here. Gets in the ring. Dude,
do you remember, I forget what year it was, but the TLC and S pay-per-view, Tables, Ladders, Chairs, and Stairs?
Yeah, I forget what year it was too, but I do remember
it was Rowan versus Big Show, right?
Yes.
So, do you remember how they had graphics showing details of those steel steps back then?
Yeah.
And they said that they were like 1,100 pounds.
Yeah.
And Commander Aziz just lifts it over his fucking head and chucks it out of the ring.
Baby stairs. Oh, God. Speaking of baby, that is one nitpick I had, just to kind of retroactively tag this on there. What the fuck do you let Dominic Mysterio talk? Like, I don't even know if you checked out of this. There was a backstage.
I did not know that Dominic Mysterio talked, so yeah. That's.
Oh, dude, then I should apologize to you then, because I could have spared you this, honestly. But the Mysterios were backstage after Ray beat Ziggler, because Ziggler, again, young body, old face, clearly is just, that arthritis. He just keeps getting pinned. I'm a terrible person. I'm a terrible person. We done knew.
It's like a grandpa in a fucking muscle suit.
But, they're talking about how psyched they are for their tag title match. And then Dirty Dogs come in. They're laughing because that's all they have is their insecurity. They're a lot like Roman in that way, except Roman actually pulls it off. And Dolph is like, I told you, kid. You don't belong in this business, you're a child, all this like infantilizing stuff. It doesn't beat what he said last week. This is real. Proceeds to get pinned. That wasn't real. That doesn't count. And then Dominic, oh God, he's like, see, now I thought a good line would have been, you can call me whatever you want, because they've been doing a lot of name calling in his direction. But after Sunday, all you're going to call me is one half of the tag team champions. I would have had no problem with that. Because that's the exact line I would have come up with, as generic as it may be. It's effective. He's like, call me whatever you want, but after Sunday, all you're going to be calling me is Baby Champ. Stop. It's time to stop. Just stop. Oh, God. He's never going to get good at this. He's either going to be just passable enough in the ring that he should just, wear a mask so people don't expect him to talk, or he's just never going to get good at this in general, and this is a waste of everybody's time. But, yeah, that was cringe, Dominic. Do better. But, anyway, what was it?
Just acknowledge that line probably wasn't his fault.
I mean, maybe, but here's the thing, can't you improv at least and then maybe take the heat? Because I'm telling you, man, I don't know. He's Ray's kid. He's Ray's kid, though. Like, I don't know, man.
I'm not denying that it was a bad line, but put the blame where it belongs on WWE's writing team.
Probably, but no. Like, I'm blaming everyone.
I mean, look, he's trash, and the delivery could have potentially saved the line, and he didn't because he's trash. But that line wasn't bad exclusively because of Dominic Mysterio.
I mean, that is a fair, reasonable response. I hate it.
You just don't want to be fair and reasonable right now.
I really don't. Look, I'll just start being honest with you because I know you're going to call me out every time.
The whole ass summer dealing with him feuding with Seth Rollins and actually winning some matches. I'm ready to be done with him. I've been ready to be done with him for close to a fucking year at this point.
Your energy with Dominic Mysterio is my energy with AEW. We've live reacted to enough of these shows. I'm over it. It's done. It's never going to be good. But maybe no. And so that's kind of where we're at with Dominic. Maybe no. So
but what if you just no?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so
did you hear it? No.
Yeah. Getting back to people that don't suck. After everything, Kevin Owens is pursuing Sammy. Sammy gets out of the ring, and then Apollo and Aziz they start beating Kevin Owens. Then Big E comes.
Hilarious when Sammy got in the ring and then slid out right away. Kevin tried to chase him, and he got cut off by Apollo and Aziz.
Yeah,
Sammy, you slippy son of a bitch. That was brilliant.
He's just so intelligent.
He is.
And then Big E comes in. He tries to even the odds. And then, everything kind of breaks down because then Sammy gets back in the fray, lays out Big E. I think he might have even gotten a shot in or two on Apollo. Tries to do the haluva kick to Owens. Owens intercepts him with a stunner, which I actually like Sammy's sell of it. Then, Big E comes in. He hits the big ending on Owens. And then he's about to hit the big ending on Apollo. But Aziz pulls him out and he kind of carries him off. And Big E's like, get back in here. That's my baby, referring to the Intercontinental title. And he's looking all intense. And again, later in the show, we learn that it is going to be a fatal four-way for next week and not WrestleMania Backlash, which again, honestly surprises me.
Yeah, it is weird. It's definitely weird.
I'm just going to be honest, and this isn't like against Apollo. And just to be serious, I really shouldn't have been that critical on Dominic. We know that there's a creative and writing team. They just need to be better. And in the same breath, it's not against Apollo, but I don't think it's a good sign for his title reign that, he won the title at freaking Mania, and it's not his first defense, but, this is, one of his bigger defenses to date, and it's not happening on a pay-per-view. I find that a bit concerning, just personally. Especially when, again, you've got people the caliber of Big E, Sami Zayn, and Owens involved, all three of whom are pay-per-view worthy, and I think Apollo is as well, especially for this spot.
I think you could argue all three of them are main event worthy.
Absolutely. So I don't understand why this is happening on a SmackDown rather than the pay-per-view, but I digress. After that, I put this as Dolph Ziggler losing to a rookie recap because they show him losing Dominic Mysterio. We already kind of talked about that. Really not much to say about Rey Mysterio versus Ziggler. They did some inspired spots in this. Again, I don't want to make it seem like it's trash. I just really, there's no emotional investment for me. I think one good spot was because they really told the story that Dolph had the 619 so well scouted from his extensive history with Rey. And at one point he intercepted the 619 with a super kick. I thought that was well done. We actually saw Dolph do his inverted body slam that we haven't seen him do in a long time because he can do it with Rey's size. So I thought that was a nice looking spot. But Rey ultimately cradles Dolph at one point. I think Dolph was going for some kind of slam or something, and Rey reversed it into a cradle for the 3 count. And commentary, I don't know if it's Pat McAfee and Michael Cole just doing it for me, but they even make matches and the potential for said matches more interesting than they're probably going to be, because Pat McAfee in particular makes the point, if I'm rude, I'm not mad at the Mysterios, I'm mad at Dolph, because Dolph has been the one taking these L's, which has been a more interesting part of this feud. You'd expect that because Dolph competed last week against Dominic, that Rey would have competed against Rude this week. Right. You know what I mean? So, it's Dolph taking the L both times, and I'm wondering if there's a deeper story to tell here.
Maybe the deeper story is they were saving Rude, and Rude's going to be the one to get the winning pinfall in the match.
I will just simply say, because I want to save as much content for tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, That has definitely crossed my mind. I will say this, though, looking a bit into the future, if they're in any way trying to lay the groundwork for a Rude singles run, I personally don't care, but I do think they can pull it off if the writing's there, but you've already got the best heel you're going to get in Roman Reigns. So, like, I don't really see where the upside to that is in this particular moment in time. Run? Maybe a mid-card heel run, but even
I feel like there are already so many mid-card heels between Apollo and Sammy and now Alistair Black incoming. That would feel really redundant.
Exactly. See, and you even took it further than I did, because I was just simply going to say that I think that's a disservice to Apollo, because I like Apollo. I just agree with you that I think he needs new feuds that really are the focus and not just an augmentation of the seemingly central and never-ending Big E feud.
Do you think maybe they would do a Bobby Roode babyface mid-card run?
Oh, God, maybe, but we've seen that before on Raw. Remember, I know a lot of people forget, but Roode is actually a former U.S. champion. And, like, he was a babyface when he won that title, and just...
I don't remember that at all, yeah.
Yeah, see? See? Thank you. Because my point essentially was going to be that Roode as a mid-card babyface is so forgettable. Like, him being a heel is where he's going to get the most mileage, because even if you don't like it, you're probably going to remember it. Like, I still remember that this dude was an NXT champion, and that, you know, like, how he won the title, and some of his promos in NXT. As a babyface, it's hard to recall some of his shit, and I only do because I'm cursed with a memory for wrestling that sometimes I utterly hate. So, yeah, I don't know what you do with Roode, but it was just interesting to me that Pat Gigachad really pointed out that if you're Roode, you're really pissed at Dolphin here, because he ate both pins. So, I don't know, Dolph. And, yeah, by the way, a bit of a side note, just because I'm definitely feeling catty tonight, I hated Dolph's hair in this. I don't know what he was doing. A Wesley Blake, you are not, sir. So, simmer down. After that, we get a Cesaro interview. Again, keeps it to the point. He says he would be honored to be the Universal Champion, and, you know, he talks about growing up in Switzerland. Nobody thought that he'd make it in WWE, much less be a world champion. He's got that opportunity at WrestleMania Backlash, and after WrestleMania Backlash, he's going to earn the WWE Universe acknowledging him as Universal Champion. Again, fairly straightforward, good enough. We got the Mysterios and Dirty Dogs backstage. I already talked about that, so we can move on. We get Bianca Belair.
Say it now, just because you just mentioned the Cesaro promo. I feel like this is the first feud of Roman Reigns' current title reign that really feels like Roman is the one doing the carrying in the build-up.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. I completely agree with you there.
Like, because this is the first time that they've really used Roman's heel clout to get a babyface over that not just anyone could have gotten over.
Yeah. Yeah, because Cesaro's whole bread and butter, and we've known this for years, he's a freak in the ring, and I think him and Roman will make magic on Sunday. But talking isn't his strong suit, and I haven't even been offended by the talking he's done. I think they found a good pocket for him, but it's one thing to be in a good pocket. It's another thing to have, like, memorable moments on the mic, and that's where Roman comes in. Because this dude, like, I just keep thinking, like, I can't wait to see him every week to see what he's going to say that week. Whereas Cesaro, it's like, yeah, that was fine. That was fine. So it's like a complete difference. So I do agree with you on that front, really driving the story forward, making Cesaro, like, you wanting to root for him. It's not just because he's put the time in and we know he's really good at the things he's really good at.
Yeah.
It's that Reigns is just an astounding freaking heel right now.
Yeah.
So I agree with you 1,000%. Gonna hand the ball to you, bud. How'd you feel about Bianca Belair and Bayley tonight?
Oh, I love this. This was really good. I feel like, dude, it's crazy, because if you would have asked me before last year, I would have told you that Sasha Banks absolutely blew Bayley out of the water on the mic. But this is the best promo that anybody feuding with Bianca Belair has cut since Bianca came to the main roster.
Yeah. I love Bianca's face energy. It's amazing because, when she first came into NXT, because I think she's had the EST gimmick more or less since day one.
Yeah.
And you'd think, like, man, that just screams heel. This woman is the strongest, the toughest, the best. But, like, as a face, it's just so likable. And, like, I like that this woman, because I think, again, when we think about how cultures change, this woman isn't, like, meek or timid or, like, can I overcome it? Because she even said, no, it wasn't tonight. I think it was, like, a week or maybe even 2 weeks ago. But where she said, if you would have told me or if you would have asked me if I was ever going to main event WrestleMania, I would have said, well, probably, but she says it in such an endearing way. It's not like a snooty, like, well, of course I would have. I'm me. Right. It's more like, no, I know that I'm good, but I know being good, even that alone takes a lot of hard work, and getting where you want to be, even when you're good, takes even more hard work, and I'm willing to put that work in. And she constantly reminds us there's an EST in all of us. So I just love how she's been able to take this, because even when she was a face that brief period in NXT, I feel like they didn't really commit to her being a face like the main roster has.
Yeah.
And you could see the difference, because the main roster, her being a babyface, it's like, yeah, dude, I'd be very curious, because I haven't heard anything, and I know you're usually better about that than me, so I don't know if you've heard anything, but I'd be very curious what her merch sales are like, because if she's not like a top merch seller, I'm honestly a bit surprised. I think, she's got a great aesthetic, one that people want, in their fucking closets and shit like that, and donning the t-shirts and the sunglasses. And yeah, she's in her moment right now. This really is her era, I feel like. And I agree with you about Bayley. Her talking, I mean, I was stoned a couple days ago when I tweeted this, but I mean it even sober. I'm probably even mean it even more sober. But Bayley is just like, she's one of the best. I actually participated in a poll today that was like, oh, who's your favorite four horsewoman? And I actually voted Bayley. Like, I love Sasha, but I feel like if you were to ask me, who do I love with everything, the talking, the wrestling, everything, Bayley to me is the most complete, because even Becky, and I have supported Becky on this podcast, it's well documented, but I've also always said, or at least consistently said, that I feel like Becky was a bit underwhelming on the in-ring side, but Bayley, I just feel like she's the most well-rounded of the four. And the sad thing is, she came in third in the poll. Like, Charlotte got the least amount of votes, which did make me smile, I'm not going to lie. I think...
Was it at least Becky, close between the top three?
No, because I think it was close between Becky and Sasha. Bayley was a distant third.
Oh, wow.
Which really, I'm not going to lie, it disappointed me a little bit, because I'm like, oh, so some people are sleeping on Bayley, and that, that to me is kind of sad.
I think Bayley right now just doesn't vibe with some people. I mean, I don't personally get it, but I think I've seen a lot more comments negatively towards Bayley than I expect to see online.
Yeah, dude, and you already know, freaking obviously, that I'm the exact opposite. And it's funny because I see a lot of similarities between Becky and Sammy, where, like, when they both go back to being babyface, like, I think it's going to be a huge moment for both of them. And I think it's going to be an even bigger moment for Bayley, honestly, because the way she turned heel, I even went back and I watched it. It was either yesterday or 2 days ago, destroying the Bayley buddies and stuff like that. And who could forget the Twitter video? I don't know if you ever saw it, where a parent's like, this heel turn is not going over well in my household. And it pans over to their child crying while they're watching the Bayley buddies being destroyed.
I do remember that.
Like, it was so emphatic that I feel like, and I've always said this, I want Bayley and Sasha to main event a Mania together. I want Sasha to finally get her first Mania win. And that loss is such a shock to Bayley's system. Oh, God, I guess I'm not over Undisputed Era either. That she kind of slowly redeems herself, because Sasha, much like Kevin with Sammy, but I think that they could tell this story even better given their friendship, wants the old Bayley back, wants the Bayley that cares about people, that cared enough about her to stand by her when even she was at her worst. She wants to do the same for Bayley, and then Bayley goes back to being face. Because Bayley as a face,
so you want Sasha to turn face too?
That would. And I am enjoying her as a heel, but man, I feel like both of them as face, I've enjoyed them both as babyface when they were with each other. Like, Boss and Hug as a babyface tag team was genuinely wholesome good shit. I enjoyed it. So yeah, if they had to both be babyface, I'm down for that, because I feel like they genuinely bring out the best in each other as people anyway, so it's more believable and sincere. But I am wading too much into conjecture. All of this is to say that I think Bayley is a world-class performer, and that whenever this character has exhausted itself, her going back to being babyface will be just, I think, stellar for her. But yeah, Bianca has a lot of confidence about beating Bayley. She's asking Bayley, where is she at? And Bayley shows up via satellite. She's like, you got to be crazy if you think I'm going to get in there. Next time you and I are going to be in the ring is going to be WrestleMania Backlash. I'm live via satellite thanks to this technology of 2021. The way Bayley even says things, like, it should be bad, but she's got such a quality about it where I'm like, oh, Bayley.
It's charming. It's fun.
It really is, man. And Bianca, I love this. Bianca's like, oh, do you like my braid? because I'd like you, to come in and get a closer look at my braid. And that's when, Bailey says, I'm not getting anywhere near there. And they get a bit more into it. And then I love the shift in atmosphere when Bianca says, oh, I didn't want to stoop to your level. I didn't want you to make me stoop to your level and hurt your little feelings, but you want it. And Bailey's just laughing because she's like, okay, like words, okay. Bianca's just like, you're just mad because while you were rolling down the ramp courtesy of the Bellas at WrestleMania, I was main eventing WrestleMania and I won this. And Bailey's look on her face, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bianca hit her target. And then Bailey flips the switch and she's like, looking at you is like looking into a mirror of my own past. And what was it she said, man? Because I know you said you really liked it.
She said something about how these fans might like your the shiny stuff and the braid and the earrings and all that stuff, but it's not going to last, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like your era isn't going to last or whatever, and that she's going to end it. Again, she mentioned how it reminded Bailey of her past, and I think she more or less said like she's going to bring an abrupt end to Bianca's bright future, as the champion. So great stuff, for a woman that got left off Mania, except in a very marginal role as like a kind of pseudo host. I love that Bailey's getting this spotlight at WrestleMania Backlash, especially because if I remember correctly, her and Bianca never really settled it. Like in terms of singles matches, I think they're one apiece. So this will be kind of like a rubber match. And yes, Bianca also did eliminate Bailey from the Women's Rumble when she won this year. But, we got to see who really is the better woman. And yeah.
Well, plus, didn't Bailey retain against Bianca once or twice while Bailey was still champion?
No, because I don't think Bianca ever really challenged for it when Bailey was champion.
Oh, really?
I don't even know if... No, I don't think so, man. Because I feel like Bianca didn't come to SmackDown until a little bit after Bailey's title reign. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, what I also like about this is it does say, because wherever the hell Sasha is, Bianca Sasha, too, is money. Honestly, that could semi-main a SummerSlam, or even main event it, depending on who Roman gets to work with, but I doubt it. I think that rematch has a lot of value, and I like that they're saving it. So, moving on from that, what do we got next here? Oh, yeah, Nakamura versus Corbin. Dude, I know you've always loved Nak. Do you have anything you want to say about this? Because I really got nothing.
Like I said, I checked out of this. I love that Nakamura took the crown afterwards. I'm like, that's my fucking king of strong style right there. That's what we've been needing for this, dude. I loved it.
I will say, there was so much I hated about this, because if you checked out, do you even know, like, what happened? Like, I don't want to, like...
No.
Oh, my God, dude.
All I saw was that Nakamura took the crown and was wearing it at the end.
Oh, God, dude. They did Nakamura so dirty, in my opinion. Honestly, I should have made this the heat of the night the more I dwell on it. So, it's a back-and-forth matchup. I honestly really couldn't tell you much, because like you, I checked out of it. The fucking finish, though, was one of those, I've got a submission and I forget to let go type things, because Nakamura has his triangle, and Corbin stacks him up and he gets the 3 count that way. Wow. He beats Nakamura clean. Yeah, dude, it was bad. And then as Corbin is celebrating, Nakamura turns him around, roundhouse kicks him, Kinshasa, and then wears the crown. Which, like, that was the only redeeming thing of this whole thing. I hate to say it, because, I don't even know what that crown is made of or whatever, but Nakamura looked badass wearing it. I'm like, that's the best that crown has looked. And if this is a tease maybe for an upcoming King of the Ring tournament and you have Nakamura win it, I think, again, Nakamura is above this tournament. That hasn't really been valued in years, but it'd be fucking something for him. Like, I just hate... And see, again, I feel like you got me into Nakamura, because I remember a time you were all about this guy because he was still in New Japan and he was tearing fucking shit up, and you're like, dude, you got to see this dude. Isn't he awesome?
Well, dude, I'm like, yeah. We both discovered Nakamura at the same time. He had a match against Kevin Steen at ROH War of the Worlds in like 2014, I want to say.
Yeah, you know what?
Our first exposure to both of us.
Yeah, okay, because I guess I misremembered, because I thought you were on the Nakamura train like long before I was, and you got me on board.
I think I was just more of an instant fan, and you took a little more time to warm up.
Yeah, and now that I have warmed up, I said on this podcast, if we were going to, do formal reviews again, I wouldn't be redundant, but, like, how do you go from, oh, man, are they teasing Nakamura and Reigns together, which would be fucking fire, to, oh man, he loses to Corbin clean because he forgot to let his triangle go. But don't worry, he's fighting for the Burger King crown, and he unironically looks fucking great in it. I hate it, man. I hate it. Like, I know, and look, let me just stress, Nakamura's getting paid. He's living comfortable. Nakamura, the human being, I'm glad he's taken care of, and I'm glad he's strong in his spot as the king of strong style. But, like, you're always going to want, I think it's the nature of the wrestling fan to always want more for the talent, even though you're grateful that they get the standard. Like, you're able to live with the roof over your head, provide for whoever you're providing for, whatever. That's great. That should be a guarantee of any job. But because this is entertainment, it's kind of like when you want to see your favorite actor or actress play a certain role. They'd make a great Dr. Doom. They'd make a great James Bond. They'd make a great this. They'd make a great that. I think Knock would make a great main event talent. I think he'd make a great world. That's pretty much all I'm saying. Like any other entertainment industry. And it just sucks that, like, this is his role in the big theater production known as WWE. But I digress. So after that, we get the Adam Pearce and Apollo segment. Already talked about that. Then we get Alistair Black vignette. We already talked about that extensively, so we're going to skip over that. Then we get Jimmy Uso being interviewed in Gorilla, before going out with his main event with Cesaro. Says that, he really didn't want this. I love how much, too, can I just say as an aside, I love how important, well, simultaneously I don't care about it currently because I don't care about the Mysterios and I certainly don't care about Rudolph. But I love how important Jimmy Uso makes the tag team titles feel. Because for him, it's like a symbol of his brotherhood with Jay.
Yep.
Because, he has not thought, I came back and because I would have even understood being away for a whole year, you're kind of reassessing shit. I would have understood if even in character he was like, I want to be Universal Champion. You gave Jay a shot. Where's my shot? Yep. But no, he's all about those tag titles, man. And I got to say, that's low-key endearing as fuck. So I just wanted to point that out, that I really love that he's been emphasizing the Usos as tag team champions. Me and Jay, tag team champions. Those titles mean so much to him, and I love that.
He hasn't even displayed any kind of interest in going after the IC title.
Exactly. Dude, how is it that this dude that isn't even anywhere near the tag titles right now is making me care about them more than the actual heel champions? Yeah. Because, whether Rudolph drop them or not, but Jimmy Uso talks about them. Yes, Usos, please.
Save it. Save the titles.
So, Jimmy says he's going to go out. He's going to beat Cesaro, all that stuff. We get Jimmy Uso versus Cesaro. You have any thoughts about this?
It was a solid match. Unfortunately, it didn't go as long as it probably should have because of Roman. But the post-match interactions are the most interesting thing, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Because Cesaro's cooking with those beauteous fucking uppercuts. And he does a cannonball.
That was the other thing, too. I was a little bit worried about Jimmy because there was a point that he started limping. And then, he, hit the super kick and it was he was fading it. But then, there were multiple other times in the match that he looked like he was, walking carefully and, he was worried about his knee. And, after he did a tope, he grabbed at his knee, even though he didn't land on his knee. I was genuinely concerned that he retweaked his knee somehow. This would be horrible timing, honestly.
It would be horrible timing. I just thought he was kind of working it because they were really saying, first match in over a year, this and that. And like you said, the injury was knee-based and all that stuff. So I just assumed it's oh, okay, he's kind of working us like kayfabe because it's you come back after a year and you're thrown against the guy that's going to be competing for the world title in 48 hours. And there's going to be a bit of tentativeness there. But just to cover all of our bases, I hope it's nothing serious. And I really hope it was just fantastic character work by Jimmy.
Yeah. If it was a work, it was incredible fucking work.
Yeah, for sure. So Cesaro hits a cannonball. Now, I'm going to be honest, guys. I was busy making food at this point, so I didn't catch everything. But it seemed like Roman Reigns interfered immediately after that. And then I kind of love Jimmy here because he's yo, Uso, I had him. Look, Jimmy, I've been loving you, man, and I've been loving that you've been poking the bear. You really didn't, though, because the last thing was Cesaro on offense. If anything,
I love, though, that Roman didn't even care. He completely disregarded whether Jimmy was correct about I almost had him or not, and he just jumped straight to, nobody cared.
Yeah.
He's like, nobody cares about these little matches. They care about the big matches.
Yeah, dude, Reigns, just his cup of give a shit, dude, has a fucking hole in it. Like, because he really was. He's like,
try and pour some in and it just goes right out the bottom.
Dude, because you're right, though. He said so emphatically and just so, like, not even necessarily annoyed, but you know, because we do it with each other all the time playfully. We're like, you'll sigh about, like, me being on my bullshit or all. It was pretty much like sigh talking. He's just like, nobody cares about these exhibition matches. He's really trying to get through to Jimmy. He's more or less saying, like,
and then he's talking about, like, yeah, it is about me. Because Jimmy kept saying, you always got to make it about you, huh? And Roman's just like, it is about me.
Yeah, Roman had serious fucking Triple H vibes.
Never about you.
Yeah, no, because recalling again my cursed, like, wrestling memory, after Orton got forcibly, like, excommunicated from Evolution and he turned face for that brief period, yeah, the first promo we cut, it was like, Evolution wasn't about past, present, future, it wasn't about a family, it was about protecting you, you know, meaning Triple H. And Triple H was like, you know what, Orton? You're right. Evolution is about me because I made it. And he does the whole angry, yelly Triple H thing. And that was kind of Roman's energy. He's like, yeah, it is about me. I'm literally, I call myself the tribal chief. The fuck, man? Fall in line. And he's over it. He's over it. Oh, Cesaro comes back in. He starts putting a hurting in on Jay. I honestly thought originally that Reigns was just going to keep arguing with Jimmy while Jimmy was getting the shit beat out of him. And, you know, because he was more concerned about winning Jimmy over or, like, making Jimmy understand, like, this is how things work if you don't fall in line. But no, he actually tries to come in, help Jay. He gets an uppercut for it. I'm loving how Reigns is on the uppercut. Dude, the story they're going to tell in the ring this Sunday, I am licking my chops because, like, man, nobody does desperate and nobody does, like, oh shit, I'm backed into a corner. Is this finally going to be at this time? Like Roman Reigns. But in that heel way where you do want it to be this time. And I think Jimmy did come in at one point, didn't he? Because even Jay,
no,
like,
he never got in the ring. He got up on the apron only to get super kicked by Cesaro.
Yeah, Cesaro doing a super kick. Low-key kind of sent me. I'm like, what the fuck was this?
Yeah. I even told my mom when that happened, you don't really see Cesaro do super kicks very often.
Dude, I had to do a double take where I'm like, y'all saw that, right? Because I'm so used to him throwing uppercuts. Yeah. And it's like, wait, you can use your thighs? What the fuck is this? So, again...
It's such a rare sight, I almost feel like calling it a super kick is doing it a disservice.
Yeah, really. And
maybe we should call it the Swiss super kick.
Oh, God. You know he's going to. I bet he's already tweeted something about that by now. And he picks up Jay, and Reigns is just kind of like, God damn it, why is everything falling apart, and why does he finally get his shot when this is my era? Everything is wrong. Paul, say something stupid. Well, he doesn't actually say that, but he's probably eternally screaming it. Yeah, Kavash and Brad pretty much had the same energy. And he hits one neutralizer on Jay,
I loved this.
And then he gets him up again and Foster
Come on, Roman,
again.
do something. This is your cousin, right?
Yeah, this is your cousin. I'm surprised he didn't swing him, honestly, and do that again, but I think he probably thought that was played out since he did that a few weeks ago with Bryan when he was still active. And he just holds the neutralizer there. And like Foster just said, with how long Cesaro held that neutralizer, I almost thought we were getting a Gotch pile driver.
Yeah, dude, I had the same thought. I was like, what, is he going to sit down here? I was really like, he's introducing a new variation of his finisher right before he faces Roman to really fuck him up.
Bro, I know it is never going to happen, but we talk a lot of fantasy shit on the show, so just indulge me. Yeah. Imagine if we get to fucking SummerSlam and he actually, because he kicked out of the neutralizer, and he does the fucking Gotch pile driver to win the title. And like, he can acknowledge Suzuki on Twitter, because we don't do that shit on a live mic. We don't do that shit here. But like, yes.
Well, it's maybe not really Suzuki that he should be acknowledging. It's in the name Gotch, right?
Yeah, fucking, you don't own that move, Suzuki. I am so sorry I said it with that tone. I got caught up in the moment. I am.
Dude, you better hope Javaris has a sweet line to Suzuki and be able to calm him down after that. Jesus.
Yeah. You know something? I don't normally say this, but I was entirely in the wrong. Wow, taking full accountability. That hits so different. But yeah, like, no, I was completely in the wrong. I am so sorry. But to make the broader point,
I'm going to remember this moment.
I'm sure you will. Way to actually use the memory against me. But, you know, Reigns could kick out the 2 fucking neutralizers.
Damn it, stop it.
No. And then Cesaro.
You really just said no.
You like how indignant I was there. But,
it really did. It was like a little kid bouncing a basketball. The mom says, stop it. And he's just like, but this is all I want to do. And she's just like, no, we're in the store. Stop it. No.
You know that's a parent that drinks when they get home. Please, I just wanted to go to the store. No, why can't you just be normal? Oh,
wait,
man.
What was that from? Who said that?
The Babadook. The fucking mom in the Babadook when the kid's like losing his shit and she's clearly losing her shit. But yeah, SummerSlam, Reigns should kick out of 2 neutralizers, and then Cesaro's like, you know what I'm gonna use? My ass, and then God style pile driver, baby. Hell yeah. But yeah, he held that shit in, and he's like, it's gonna be you this Sunday. Bam!
And then did you hear the line
shit.
that Cesaro spoke after he hit that second neutralizer?
What was?
He's not your bitch, you're his.
Oh, see, I feel like it would have been better, though, because I do remember that if he would have said, he's not your bitch, you're my bitch. Because, like, oh, God. He laid out Reigns with the neutralizer last week, lays out his family again this
even
week.
he's not your bitch, he's mine, and so you will be next Sunday. Like, just listen about both of them.
Yeah, you extend that promo
your whole family
and you get
is my
everybody in.
bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Big Swiss energy right there. So yeah, that was Smackdown. I'm clearly giddy by this segment. I'm low-key really excited to talk about this match.
Probably the best thing on the show.
Yeah, your face is the best thing on
the
this show.
Bianca Bailey confrontation. One of those two is the best thing on the show.
Yeah, just like your face is the best thing on this show. I agree. I absolutely agree.
My face isn't even technically a part of this show, so you don't use face cam.
Yeah, yes, it is. Simmer down. Anyway, let's get to our next segment: high spots and low shots. I'm gonna say low shot is Nya. You know, because you're part of this whole Samoan Dynasty. I mean, you're not formally recognized by Roman Reigns, and after that you ate. I can hardly blame him. You know what I'm saying? And you lost your championship, so you're just kind of failing on every front. So yeah, Nia Jax is my low shot.
You know, the one good thing, and they're going to prove me wrong in a week, but the one good thing about this is that on paper, at least, Shayna and Nya should no longer be allowed to show up on SmackDown. They should just be gone. Because they're no longer the champions, so they should no longer be able to travel to both brands. But you know they're going to prove me wrong and just do it fucking anyway.
Yeah. I love the indifference you've come to have about your own logic, specifically as it relates about this company. You know, everything points to this, but they don't care, so why should you? It's just, yeah, that's really where they've beaten us down. High spot... I want to take the low-hanging fruit when it's so
I never gave
sweet.
A low shot.
Oh, you never did. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, because you were more responding to me. So who's your low shot?
This is Dolph Ziggler. That's easy.
Oh, wow, there you go. Yeah.
I mean, he talks all this shit, and he's lost to Ray and his fucking child.
Yeah, I mean, when you're Dolph Ziggler, a low shot is just, it comes naturally. So
yeah, he didn't even need to lose. He's Dolph Ziggler. That makes him an eternal low shot. He is to low shots what Adam Cole is to high spots.
Love it. I love it. All right. Do I want to take the low-hanging fruit that tastes so fucking sweet, or do I want to be creative, while also somewhat, turned up? Wow. Dude, everything going on in their voice right now. You know what? Honorary high spot to Bailey, and then my actual high spot's going to be Bianca.
Good.
Because she did kill it. They were both great. They had an amazing segment. And I really am. I'm looking forward to Bayley doing what she does best, and that's freaking wrestling, especially in a high-profile match. I think she's the perfect person to jumpstart Bianca's title reign, again, as we hold off on Bianca Sasha 2. And Bianca, I just think is such a believable babyface. Unbelievably believable, just because of, the gimmick and everything else. She just does it so well. So Bianca's my high spot, and I leave it to you, sir.
I'll take that low-hanging fruit. It's Cesaro. He, unlike Jimmy Uso, actually had him beat. And then fucking Roman had to break it up. And then he still managed to fend off a 2 1/4, because Jimmy did kind of sort of get involved at one point, even though it didn't take long for Cesaro to get rid of him. On one disadvantage, fended him off and hit Jay twice with that neutralizer to send a message to Roman. Big W for the Swiss Superman, Cesaro.
Yeah, he's all those things.
The Smackdown Swiss Superman, Cesaro.
Yeah, swing is in the air.
The swinging Swiss Superman Cesaro on Smackdown, baby. Ooh.
Oh, you know what? I was going to say something horrible, but I'm glad I held off. So, with that said, this has been Smackdown. This has been TWitWoW. The best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to leave a like as you find out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top result for Friday night SmackDown reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Check out the TWitWoW Patreon. And check out all of our offerings and price breakdowns. 2 offerings I want to highlight in particular. Additional Q&A questions for $1. TWitWoW does Q&As the last Thursday of every month. For this month, that is May 27th. So you've got less than 2 weeks to get your questions in. So please do so. Non-Patreon owners only get 3 Q&A questions. Those that donate $1 to the TWitWoW Patreon get 2 additional questions for a total of 5. The other offering we have, and I would really just do this offering straight up and you get the bundle, for $3, so $2 additional more than just the $1 Q&A offering, you get access to the TWitWoW Discord. And Discord is a place where you can submit your Q&A questions, by the way, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Discord. And we're a great community, great people. We do Among Us Mondays. You know the drill by now. And yeah, I think if you're not a part of it, be a part of it. It's only $3, and we greatly appreciate it. Beyond that, check us both out on Twitter. I'm @John_TWitWoW. My pinned tweet is pretty much a Q&A hub to collect Q&A questions. So if you're thinking, Twitter is the easiest place for me, well, I'll make it even easier for you. I've got a pinned tweet. All you have to do is reply to it with your 3 to 5 Q&A questions, and you're good to go. So get your questions in. Ashton's pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule for the month. Every month, he makes a new TWitWoW schedule. This one's kind of hit a bit different with Japan in kind of its state of emergency, kind of, dealing with its pandemic stuff still, because COVID's just been a menace to everybody. Please get vaccinated if you haven't. I'm 1 vaccine down. My partner here is fully vaccinated. We just got to wait our time out. Stardom has canceled some shows because we had some Stardom shows lined up. The site hasn't even updated with them, and we just feel like they canceled them all together. So that kind of messed things up. So for the rest of this week, it's really just WWE stuff. Again, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, it is WrestleMania Backlash preview and predictions. Then Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, it is WrestleMania Backlash live reactions. So that closes out the week. We will see you guys tomorrow at 10 p.m. Until then, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support as always. Oh, by the way, subscribe and click the bell icon so you never get missed any of that. Oh, goodness, I knew I was forgetting something. So thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. We'll see you all tomorrow as we preview and predict WrestleMania Backlash. And until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. And until we see each other again, tune in. Peace out.